Welcome back. Thanks again for joining us. It is 7:15 and it's time to cross over to Leanne Manners. She's standing by in Tembisa to talk about something that's extremely important, education and the education of the young girls. She's shouting orders everywhere there because this is absolutely important for her as well. And she'll tell you why in just a moment. Leanne, a very good morning to you. Can you hear us? Can you tell us a little bit about why you're there?
Yes, Ayanda, a very, very good morning to you. Still a little bit croaky, but let me tell you, a lot better than I was the other day. So it's good to be back with you, and it's good to be back with such a special occasion that we are celebrating here today. Now, you think that in the year 2015 that worrying about sanitary towels for young girls is not an issue. The problem is, it is one of the most major issues that young schoolgirls actually go through on a daily basis. Do you know that so many of our South African young girls miss school because of their period, because they have absolutely no sanitary wear and they have to miss school. They have to stay home because they cannot come to school. And if they do come to school, a lot of them are sent home. Why? Because they ruin their school uniforms, because there's blood on their clothes, they're embarrassed, teachers send them home, there's not much they can do for them. These are the realities that so many of our young girls go through on a daily basis. And the reality is we cannot sit back and allow this to happen and allow the young girls of South Africa to go through such a natural thing that every single one of us goes through and feel embarrassed about it and feel shy. Now, we're coming to you from the Winnie Mandela Secondary School. It's here, it's in Tembisa, and Tembisa is one of these informal settlements or townships. I've got Richard with me now. I'm going to tell you who Richard is in a short while, but these are one of these areas that is in desperate need of being supplied for their young girls and their young school-going girls. Now, there's a guy named Richard Mabaso who has developed something called Trek4Mandela. Now, he runs the Caring for Girls campaign, part of the Mbambo Foundation, where what they do is they raise funds to buy sanitary towels for these young girls. I've got Richard with me, and it's so good to have you and finally to be here at the school. And welcome to Morning Live.
Oh, thank you, and a very warm welcome from a cold Johannesburg to your viewers at home.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for, being here, you personally. And also, I think what is very important about today is that, like you said earlier, we are here to liberate the girl child.
Yeah.
And it's very important for me to mention that in 2012, one odd evening, I just happened to overhear a conversation between my mom and my niece, and they were talking about menstruation. And, my mother didn't want me to hear the conversation. She was like terrified that my niece would mention something like that. But in the end, what happened is I said, as a young man in South Africa, I wanted to do something. I wanted to inspire other young men out there to go out there and stand up for the girl child.
Yeah.
But what I have developed, like you said earlier, it's Trek4Mandela and Caring for Girls program.
Right.
And what this program are aiming at is to raise funds annually to support young girls with sanitary pads. So we climb Kilimanjaro and summit Kilimanjaro on Mandela Day.
All right, he makes that sound so simple. So let me explain to you what's happened here is that I got a phone call from the Nelson Mandela Foundation from Selo Hatang to say, Leanne, would you like to climb Kilimanjaro? My immediate response was, Selo, absolutely not. I don't know how to do that. I don't camp, I don't climb, I don't do anything. Then he told me what it was all about, and I don't know, then my heartstrings started getting pulled in every direction, and the more I started realizing how bad the situation is, the more I was convinced that this is a cause that I need to commit to, and I need to do this. So you've managed to get 27 people to commit to this, to climb up Kilimanjaro and summit on Nelson Mandela Day, and all of this is to raise funds to buy these sanitary towels that we're going to hand over today.
Yes, we will be handing over to all the girls at this school, and like I said to you earlier, our campaign this year is to support 270,000 girls. Like you mentioned earlier, it's 27 climbers, which stands for the 27 years of Madiba's prison. And then we said for each year that Madiba spent in prison, there has to be 10,000 girls supported. So everyone at home, everywhere they are, they're invited to join this movement to support the girl child. But let me just mention that in the beginning, when we started this whole campaign, we got people like the Department of Education in Mpumalanga Province and KwaZulu-Natal, the Nelson Mandela Foundation, the Banking Association, Lilets, which is a private sector. So people in their own, companies, they are coming on board to say, what is it that we can do? And one of our, very recently exciting news is that we just signed up the IDC, which has just distributed sanitary pads to over 12,000 girls across the country. So I think this is a nice build-up for us to get to our 270,000 girls, and we are very, very excited.
All right, well, I'm just as excited, and I think other people that are excited are the deputy principals. I'm going to call them into the shot here, the deputy principals, if you could come in, of the Winnie Mandela Secondary School, to talk a little bit about the school and also to talk about this handover. Thank you for having us here today on such a special occasion, because I think that I can see the girls all standing in the background there. So they're going to receive these packs today, which means a lot. How bad is the situation? How many of the girls actually miss school due to their periods?
Thank you very much, Leanne, and good morning to all the viewers over there. Leanne, we are facing a very terrible situation at school here with all the learners who come from very vulnerable families. Most of them are even child-headed families. And as a result, these learners, they lose school, because once they are on those, they see themselves in those situations, they stay away from school because they lack these sanitary towels. They found themselves in a situation whereby they cannot actually mingle with other learners at school. As a result, they stay at home, but for them to encourage them to come to school, we feel that they really need these sanitary towels. And if it was possible, if the government would actually try and provide these sanitary towels to all the schools, then learners will come to school every day.
Yeah. Do the government assist in any way at this point?
Truly speaking, the government is not doing anything to help us. But thank you very much to the mountain climbers, because through their efforts that they wanted to care all these girls through their periods, then that would actually help the learners.
Yeah. And I know that you've got the learners at the moment, they're writing exams. It's an important time for them. But I can imagine a lot of them actually miss writing these exams because they've got their period and they can't come to school. You were telling me that it gets to the point where a lot of them have to use toilet paper because there is nothing else for them.
Yeah, Leanne, at the moment, for us to sustain their stay at the school, we are actually depending on the sanitary towels that were provided by this company Caring for Girls, under Mandela Foundation. They provided us with these sanitary towels starting from 2013 up until last year. They also gave us those sanitary towels. So we are trying to sustain the little bit that they gave us, so that we are able to provide them to all the learners who are on those who see themselves in those days.
Yeah. How many young girls have you got at the school right now?
It's 957 young girls at this school.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, and even the number of sanitary towels that were provided are not enough for these kids. But we are trying our utmost, like I indicated, just to sustain them so that they are able to use them, properly and accordingly and affordably so.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know that we've also got the president of the parents governing body as well. So thank you so much for being with us here on the program as well, and welcome. Please stay with us. From your perspective, an initiative like this to try and help the girls, what does it mean to you and mean for the girls here as well?
Well, let me greet the listeners. I must say that it's a very big initiative. We really appreciate it as a school. On behalf of the parents of this school and the community around here, we really actually appreciate it, and we believe that it will actually reduce absenteeism, because we know for the fact that when nature calls in terms of what happens to women every month, and then there's problems like this, some of the people are unable to students are unable to come to school, and then it really affects their attendance. And we believe with this kind of initiative we will be able to actually up our attendance.
What do the parents do? Is it an issue that you discuss when you get together, when you have your meetings, or is it something that's almost put at the bottom of the agenda because there's so many other things to worry about, is worrying about your kids, their safety at school, getting to school, their equipment, learning, studying, something like this? Does it even feature in your meetings?
Well, I must say it doesn't feature that much, and it's something that we need to actually think twice to make sure that it becomes part of our agenda. And not only us as the SGB, we should be actually, upscale it to the parents themselves in our parents' meeting, so we're able to actually talk to them. In their families, they also have to talk about the issue, because we know for the fact that as Africans, sometimes some of these things become taboo, and they are not actually usually discussed, and it's something that we need to actually wake up to the truth and then be able to discuss some of these things and not take them to the back bench, and be able to actually as families talk about these matters, because they do affect a girl child and also affect the schooling.
Yeah, I being a woman, I know what it's like. We've all been there. We've gone through the situation. But what you did tell me is that a lot of the young girls here come from child-headed households. In fact, a lot of them probably head their own households. And they don't know what's happening to them. The question I'm going to ask you, and I probably already know the answer, is there any form of counseling available? Do they come to school? Do they get assistance in any way? Or do you not have the resources to do that for them?
Yeah, Leanne, fortunately enough, with the resources that we have around, we try by all means to utilize them properly and actually to help these learners. There is a clinic nearby where it has some social workers. With learners that have some social problems, we normally call the social workers in the clinic nearby to come and assist us.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, look, let's leave it there for now. Thank you for talking to us, but I know that you're going to come back to us just now, because the whole reason we're really broadcasting from here is the first handout for this year to these young girls, where they are going to be getting these packs that we are working so hard to raise the funds to be able to buy for them. And the young girls who are standing over there waiting for these packs will be handed over to them, and we'll get the opportunity to speak to them as well. Stay tuned to Morning Live.